Hi, it's Ileana here from the Cosmic Wisdom Teachings. I am doing episode 3 today, and I wanted to talk about a little bit about shamanic drumming, Stargate portals, the recently discovered megastructure around the star system near Cygnus and Lyra constellation. I've discovered some interesting things about that megastructure, who made it and what is it. As well, I'd like to discuss the some of the recent things I've been seeing of a near future timeline. I saw the space station and the fact that Earth was renamed Terra Nova. So I'd like to discuss some of those things. So I'll start off with the shamanic drumming. Around October 1st and September 28th, I was doing a lot of drumming. I was going around near the lakes, the forests, the creeks, where I live in South Surrey, BC, Canada. And I was just, I took my Remo drum with me. It is a synthetic drum. The reason why I bought a synthetic drum is because I live in a moist climate out here in BC. It's kind of rainforests. So basically, any of the natural skin drums would deflate in the climate where I'm in. So that's why I purchased a synthetic drum. And it works just as well as a natural skin drum. I do shamanic drumming based on the Native American teachings that I learned from my shaman teacher. So I basically like to go out in nature so I can ground myself, so I can also give positive energies to the earth, give her some energy back, so to help prevent earthquakes, natural disasters. I find that having positive affirmations and singing and channeling light language while drumming near a creek, by the ocean, a lake, in the forest, it really helps to give the earth positive energies and to work with her ley lines to keep them stable. So basically, it's quite, it helps the earth a lot, and it helps us too as beings, as humanity. So I've been doing a lot of the drumming recently, especially around the time Wave X was coming in. So that's a project I've been working on. And it helped to ground me, to keep me stable, my energies. I was receiving a lot of incoming downloads and upgrades, especially on DNA sequencing and stuff like that. So the drumming really helped me to be stable. And being out in nature also is a great way to be in touch with your higher self, to be in touch with cosmic reality. And also breathing in fresh air is good for your body, to step away from the technology and to just be outside, to walk on the ground with your bare feet. That's called earthing. And it rebalances your auric field, your chakra systems, your whole body system, basically your nervous system, your visual cortex. So it's really great to be outside and to be in nature to do this kind of stuff, because it promotes good health, basically, and it keeps you grounded and stable and happy being outside in the fresh air. And hey, go take a walk, drum outside, invigorate yourself. That's the beauty of drumming. And I made a little video of the drumming that I'll post in this webcast as well, in the beginning of the video of this talk, so you can see the idea what it's like to drum by a lake and by the forest. My little intro video for that before the episode starts, so that'll be in there. As well, I wanted to talk about Stargates. Recently, I've been getting a lot of informational downloads on Stargate technology, especially the circular Stargates that look like from the movie and the series Stargate SG-1. So the Stargate portals are round, circular type Stargates, and these are found all over planet Earth. Some of them are in the ocean or the sea, even lakes, and they can rise out of the water to be activated. Some of them have slipstream technology and are powered by hyperdrives. And the stargates that are in the water, they rise out of the water level, so a ship can travel through it, and then they lower back into the water again, or they could be activated under the water, so the starships go undetected when they're traveling through the waterway Stargate portals. So it could be done either way through a water Stargate, and those Stargates could be moved with a tractor beam from a ship to another location on Earth or other planets or even galaxies, depending where the Stargate is needed. As well, there are Stargates out in space, and they're same type of technology. They also use plasma generators to activate the Stargates. Stargates have wormhole portals in them that are activated from a Stargate computer pad. It's basically a computer structure. It could be circular or it could be square. That's built right beside the Stargate itself. So basically it's a dialing system of coordinates and letters. It's numbers, coordinates, and letters to star systems, planets, galaxies, and even other universes. So, and there's a lot of these Stargates. The dialing pads are basically on Stargates that are on planets. The Stargates out in space, they are telepathically activated or from starships, dialing the coordinates. So it's done from a starship. Or they're pre-programmed already into the Stargate. So when a ship comes near the Stargate, it automatically is activated. The technology is activated and the ship can go through the Stargate portal. The Stargates can detect the ship signatures, which ships they are, what star system they're from, which ET races it's for, and it's called smart technology. So there are pre-programmed and pre-planned coordinates for certain ships to go through the Stargate portal technology. And like I was saying, it's all based on wormholes. The wormholes are very much naturally occurring in space-time. And some wormholes open up on their own, and some open up with the Stargate technology. Most of the Stargate technology was built by the first creator race, the elves. They're also called the builder race. They were the first race that seeded the Milky Way galaxy, and they left behind the Stargate technology that is advanced. So I just wanted to mention the Stargates. As well, there are pyramid-shaped Stargates, like the Pyramid of Giza, that harness energy and also act as power source devices to power ships and other electrical devices, power plants. So they act like power plants. So that's another form of Stargate technology. As well, there's black holes in the universe. Those are more technologically created, so they're not very natural. It's safer to travel in a wormhole because it's more stable and naturally occurring, as opposed to black holes, which they can take more mass energy and can beam up more ships, like say 10 ships at the same time, but they're not as stable as the wormhole technology. Wormhole technology stays open much longer than the black holes that are made by ships. Mostly black holes are made by ships. So I posted some of that information on my website under Stargate Way portals on Messages from a Star Traveler. So people could see that information. I'll provide a link under the YouTube video for it, or what I'm talking about. As well, I recently was getting a lot of information about this megastructure technology that is out near a newly discovered star system. Well, they've Kepler telescope has been observing it for 4 years already, but it's still relatively new to us in how the star itself behaves. There seems to be some kind of a large thing orbiting the star, and the solar light from that is emitted by the star drops by about 22% every couple of 50 days or something like that, 20 days. And it's irregular. It's not normal for a star to act that way. So there's something circling around the star. And there's a hypothesis that it might be a megastructure. So I was quite curious about this because I remember building Dyson sphere planetoids as the star traveler and using the ring world technology, which looks like rings, and it's circular. And these rings basically are solar generator collectors. So they're huge megastructure generators that collect solar energy to build either planets that are partially technological and partially organic in their structure. Moons as well. Our moon that orbits the Earth is a man-made structure, so that's like a Dyson sphere as one example. But the moon is currently stationary because its world engines haven't been functioning for a couple of billion years. So it's basically stationary. It's near the Earth, and that's where it's going to stay for a while because the engines are offline. They don't function properly anymore because it's basically been in orbit around Earth for a few million years. And if you don't use world engines that often, they stop working. So things do break in space eventually after a couple of million years. So I thought I'd mention that interesting fact as an example. And you can build world engines into these planetoid structures, and they do travel out in space long distances. So basically it's a traveling planet starship that looks like a planet, a circular planet. You can also make ships out of the solar energy that's collected by the generators. So the hypothesis is right now by scientists that this megastructure is alien-based, but it's not. It's not alien technology. It's actually human technology that built this megastructure. Basically what it is comprised of is these ring discs, these huge ring discs that are circular, and there's about 6 of them, spinning counterclockwise to each other around the star and collecting the solar energy. And this solar generator is on for 20 days collecting the energy, and then it's basically in neutral state for about 40 days to allow its power engines to regenerate so it can collect more solar energy. So that's why there's this dip in the solar light of the star, because the device is on and off. And when it's collecting the energy, that's when you can see the dip in the starlight. The energy dip, it goes down. It's not as bright. When I went out in space as the Star Traveler to take a look at this device, I remembered using some similar technology as that to build the planetoids in my concurrent lifetime, which I'm still very much a part of. I'm very active in certain projects out in space. And what I saw written on one of the rings of this megastructure in silver metallic lettering is Halo. H-A-L-O in large, bold, silver letters. Halo. I'm like, wow, this seems very much human-like. It's spelled in English. So I'm like, these ring discs look very familiar to me. I've seen this technology before, utilized by the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, which has 20 bases out on Mars. and they build this advanced technology. They've utilized it in the HARP technology lasers that they've outfitted to Earth, as well as the CERN Hadron Collider that has these spinning ring discs that make the Hadron Collider itself, because it's huge and it's underground. So I immediately recognized the technology. It's made on Mars by the ICC, Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. And it's basically 6 huge ring discs spinning counterclockwise to each other. They're combined together in this circular megastructure around the star, collecting the solar energy, as I mentioned before. And this technology is pretty much active, and it's not too far away from Earth. It's only 1,500 light years from Earth, so it's not too far. It's the perfect place for the ICC to use this technology to harness solar energy to build more advanced technology, because it's power. It's a power source from a star. And the Kepler telescope can detect, basically it can detect stats, collecting stats, and, the dips in the light energy. But the Kepler telescope can't really provide images of what's really orbiting around the star. We can only hypothesize what the structure is. Some other theories are comets, stardust, huge planetoids orbiting the star that we haven't picked up before on. But it's quite irregular in how the star acts, and they haven't seen much stars like this before. So there is a megastructure around the star. It's orbiting the star, collecting its solar energy. I know that for a fact because I've seen it. I was hanging around it. And right away I knew it was ICC technology. As well, there are images of this technology from a video game called Halo Combat Evolution. It's from a video game as well. They featured this technology in Combat Evolution, in that series of video games. And guess what it was called? Ring Worlds. So in the video game, they said that they could build these ring discs to collect energy as well as planets with this ring world technology. So that was another confirmation. Hey, this stuff is out on the internet for anyone to look at. And this information was leaked through a video game. So that was interesting for me. It was a confirmation that, yes, this technology does exist. The ICC has created it. It is using it. And they'll make more of it for other stars to collect energy from. The ICC trades with 900 other ET races. So the ICC loves to be on top of advanced technology, making it, collecting it, reverse engineering it. So it's their top business. They make business on this. They're very advanced. And the ICC is made up of some members from the secret space programs, secret Earth government alliances, other corporations and organizations that do mining out in space, some mining on Mars, mining on asteroids, and it's pretty much about having power and money to make more technology. So that's the ICC's kind of prerogative. That's what they do. They're huge, and they have also other bases on Pluto and Uranus and some other bases outside of our solar system. So these guys are very technologically advanced, and some of them come from Earth. They've originated, they're humans from Earth that have built bases on some of the other planets in our solar system that are close to the Earth. So they're basically hidden in plain sight. You don't see them, but they're there. And they've been active for close to 70 or even 100 years. And eventually there will be data dumps and leaks about the interplanetary corporate conglomerate. I've posted about it on my website because I'm not going to keep the knowledge that I have to myself. People have the right to know what's going on out in space. And I will talk about this openly in my webcasts, in my shows. Freedom of speech, freedom of right, people's rights, that hasn't been taken away from us, so I can talk about it. And they can't do anything to me. They've tried and they failed before, so they can't come near me again. And I will talk about other things in the future. I remember a lot as the Star Traveler, and as more things come up, technology-wise and other things, I will report on it as it comes up. So I just wanted to share some of that information with you guys. And as well, I'm going to talk about the space station that I saw in the near future timeline. It's a positive timeline. So NASA was preparing to build this space station called the Confederation Space Station. It's either going to be a round, circular, disc-shaped space station, or it's going to be a 3-tiered deck, mushroom-shaped circular space station. Apparently, objects that are circular have a better terrestrial axis spin out in space than objects that are square or have other shapes. It's just better spin, terrestrial gravitational spin out in space if it's circular, or a combination of circular and some other shape combined together. I found this information quite interesting. What I did was I quantum leaped into the near future in 2030, 2040. Those are just some approximate timeline dates. It could be 2050 or 2060 as well. It's just an approximation. Timelines do change and shift in how they happen. It was a positive timeline that I saw. That was good. That was a good sign. And this space station was basically a linking hub between Earth, Mars, and the Moon to travel between these three places. And it was openly known that there are bases on the Moon and Mars at this point. And humanity on Earth had gone through the horizon event shift of transitioning into the fifth dimensional reality. And we were called pure human beings, as we had light bodies. We could be both corporeal and non-corporeal in that timeline. And the Earth was actually renamed, and the name was Terra Nova. I find that very interesting. There's a gentleman by the name of E.M. Nikolai who just released a book called Timeline Collapse, and he talks about the third dimensional timeline collapsing, and also about the universal ascension. And he said that what he saw of the fifth dimensional future Earth, it was renamed Terra. So that's another confirmation for me of what I saw, that it was right about that future timeline of Earth and the Confederation Space Station. The station is supposed to bring humans from Earth in balance with the people living on Mars and the Moon that's separated from Earth. It's a place of peace, of negotiations, and basically having a unified, balanced worlds actually, since people are living on the Moon and Mars in that timeline, not just on Earth anymore. People were branching out in space, and it's openly known. So that was, for me, quite interesting, and like I said, a confirmation of what I'm seeing and experiencing. I find that amazing and incredible, and I hope to see more stuff like it in future timelines. Like I said, I'm able to quantum leap into the future and see future timelines, as well as I can go back into the past and see things. I've done some timeline healing on my family ancestral lineage. I went into 1894, where I saw my relatives on my father's side. There was about 20 people living in a clan somewhere near Poland, near the mountains in a forest, and their homes had been burned. They had a clan village, about 10-15 houses that were burned down in a fire. Somebody set their houses on fire. They wanted to drive them out from their land. Some of the women had third-degree burns. They had little children who had burns. They lost a lot of their possessions, their homes, their clothing, their worldly possessions. So there was a lot of grief, angst, anger, and frustration in my family lineage, and it created some ailments in the future, or in the present, as it is for myself and my dad. So I went back and I healed some of that to help release some of that blocked energies or leftover residual negative energies from that ancestral timeline. And that helped me and my father a lot to become healthier and in this lifetime that we're living in right now. So it's amazing to be able to go back in the past to ask for forgiveness for my ancestors on their behalf, and to let go of the grief that happened to them. That kind of reverberated to me and my family in the present. I've also found that my abilities are being amplified with the wave X energies that came in September and beginning of October. So I'm able to see much more than I used to before and have access to more places. I was able to go to the one of the ICC bases and access their database about the Halo project. That's what it's called. It's called the Halo project, the megastructures that they build, the solar energy collectors. So that was interesting to see that in one of their databases, and their databases are highly classified. It's not easy to access them. But when I'm in a light body, I can see almost virtually into anything. So that was interesting, just as a correlation of what I can do right now. I can access databases, different ships. I'm involved in some meetings as well, and with some of the benevolent ET races. At times I do go into meetings, especially when I'm sleeping. I travel to other planets. I do tours of other planets to see how races live. And I've gotten to visit some old friends that I haven't seen for a very long time out in space. So that was incredible. I'm continuing with my shamanic work. I still do a lot of spell work and candle work, candle magic. I'm very much into the belief that magic helps with manifesting things from the etheric realms into the physical realms. Being positive with your manifestation work helps. Believing in yourself and the magic spells that you do, and what you're capable of, and what words are used in writing the spells themselves, because I write it out on paper, and then I use candles. Candle colors are important. The types of herbs and essential oils that are used in the candle magic, as well as the moon cycles, solar eclipses, moon phases. That's very important, like the full moon, the blood moon. Those cycles actually help with magic, to amplify magic. Also being careful in the types of spells that I write. I only write spells for myself, not for others, because people can be influenced by spell work, and if it's used without their permission on their behalf, the spell might not go as well as it should, or can backfire on the spellcaster. So I'm very careful with the type of energies I work in spell work. And I monitor when there are moon cycles, when there's sun cycles, solar eclipses, and I basically research carefully my herbs. my essential oils and the candle colors, what I'm using in the spell work. That's very important. And just believing in our inner selves and who we are as higher dimensional beings, because we are transforming into higher dimensional beings, evolving into what we're meant to be naturally, back to our original cosmic blueprints for a lot of us right now. So just sometimes we can hear an inner voice within ourselves. I choose to listen to that voice because it's my intuition helping and guiding me on my life journey. And the more I actually listen to it, the better I do in this world. It's my higher self has given me some good advice lately. So I'm very in touch with myself intuitively. I am an intuitive empath, as I said before. So if you hear that little voice, it's okay. It's your inner self trying to tell you something or to guide you on your journey. As well, I've heard that people have been hearing sounds in their ears, like ringing or buzzing. Those are DNA upgrades, light codes, as well being downloaded or uploaded into our human bodies, or even data packets that are messages, and our ears interpret it as buzzing or ringing in the ears. The medical term for it is tetanitis. In some cases, it's not tinnitus. It's actually us evolving and receiving information and uploads, DNA and light codes, and also data uploads. I hear buzzing and ringing all the time in my ears, during day or night, as I receive a lot of information. So I'm used to it, and I can ask myself to tone it down, or I can ask for help from my guides, spirit beings that are near me, my totem animals that also are near me. As a shaman, I can see into other worlds spiritually and communicate with other beings, spiritual beings that are existing on higher realms. I do that all the time as part of my shamanic work in this lifetime, and part of the magic work as well. Speaking to the elemental beings, that's a huge part of magic. So I do a lot of that as well through exploring my past lifetimes and doing soul retrieval work. I've been able to integrate a lot of my soul pieces back into me and remember who I am as the star traveler in other lifetimes, past lifetimes and concurrent lifetimes. I'm actually going on November 1st to do a quantum healing hypnosis session with Marilyn Dyke out in Maple Ridge in British Columbia. I still have some unresolved things with my health and who I am as a person that I would like to know more of and to help myself. So that's why I'm doing it, just to have better health, better understanding of who I am as a higher dimensional being. Quantum healing hypnosis was designed by Dolores Cannon, who was a great person. She was a hypnotist. She was a person who had a lot of contacts with ETs. She wrote many books about it. It's a great healing tool, quantum healing hypnosis. And it could last from 2 hours to 4 hours, or even more, depending on what the person's needs are and what they're trying to figure out about themselves, about their life. Healing. It provides a lot of healing. Basically, you talk to your higher self. You write down many questions that you have, concerns that you have, the type of healing you would like to receive. And the facilitator who does the hypnosis session asks those questions, and you actually answer them. Your higher self answers them while you are in the hypnosis state. So you're completely aware of what's going on, and you can come out of the hypnosis at any time. You're quite safe. So it's a great healing tool, and its short abbreviation is QHHT. So if you like, you can look it up. It's really a wonderful technique, and I look forward to experiencing it next week, at the end of the week, and seeing what answers I have for myself and what type of healing I can do on myself. And I feel totally fine with doing it. I feel in my inner soul like this could really help me. I'm listening to my inner intuition and guidance. My friend is also doing this, going to this QHHT session. She would like to know more about her life and other lifetimes. So we are in it together. So looking forward to doing another webcast episode about that experience and what I learn about myself and my other knowledge, because I have a lot of knowledge from different library repositories from other planets in the universe. So I'm quite interested in seeing what information I will receive and learn more things. I look forward to that, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.